Hi everybody, this is Moss Jackson. Welcome back to Mondays with Moss. As you can see, I'm alone today. Don't have my wife Judy. She's pretty preoccupied with the situation. However, I wanted to run something by you, which I don't quite have an answer for. All right? I am going to work on it this week with Judy, and hopefully the two of us will demonstrate what I'm about to talk to you about, and we'll figure out how to handle it, because I don't think I handled, or we handled, a situation particularly well. Not too long ago, we were out with a couple, and we had a conversation came up. So I answered the question about travel. Maybe it was about travel. And I said we were going to go on a trip in June. As soon as I began to talk, really within 2 or 3 sentences, the person's wife, guy's wife, I was talking to him, she jumps in and says, "Oh, I've been there. Let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you how great it was." And I looked at her and I said to myself, I didn't ask you how great it was. I wanted to tell you about what I'm doing or what we're doing. Why are you taking the suspense and the mystery and the excitement away? So I waited for her to finish. We took about 5 minutes, and I started to feel annoyed. Can you appreciate that? And I started to finish it, and but it took the thunder, like the energy out of my conversation. And then we were talking about gardening, about what I wanted to plant in my garden, and again, within a minute, she jumps in and says, "Oh, I'll tell you what you should do," and then she starts to talk about her garden and how beautiful it was, and she'd be glad to come over to my house and show me exactly what to do, what kind of soil, and where to plant the garden. And again, I looked at my wife, I looked at the woman's husband, and I kind of gave a look. What is this about? Maybe I even rolled my eyes, I'm not sure. But she didn't pick up anything. And when she was finished, I came back to the topic I was talking about, and I continued to talk, not to her, but to the husband. And again, within a minute or two, she interrupted and said, "Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. That happened to me too." And then she launched. It's kind of like, I felt like I was a pitcher. See if this analogy works. I was throwing the ball as a pitcher to the catcher. And the catcher threw a football back at me. And I looked at myself, what game are we playing here? And I kind of felt like that. I felt like I was attempting to throw a pitch, something that I thought would be of interest, but I wanted to do some self-expression. And I felt like kind of slapped down, and she launched into her own, what sounded like pretty self-involved, self-interested, maybe even narcissistic conversation. It wasn't a conversation. It wasn't a dialogue. It was like I probably could have gotten up, gone outside, taken a walk around the block, and I came back. She'd still be talking. So that's the situation. So this is a relationship tangle, a relationship knot, a communication knot called identification. Identification. I don't think we've talked about that. And I was wondering about whether or not you've had this situation where you're talking, you're interrupted, the person doesn't say, "Excuse me," and share a point of view, and they come back and say, "So much, what were you, I'm interested in what you're saying. I just got a little excited when you were talking about it." There was no apology, no "excuse me." It was just pure, outright 14-year-old obnoxious interrupting and lecturing us on whatever was going through her experience. And I found it really annoying, and rather than making a scene, I just kind of kept to myself, kept quiet. I kept thought to myself, okay, when she's done, I'll come back to the topic at hand, which I did maybe 6 times. But I got to tell you, by the time I left, I turned to my wife and I said, "What the hell was that? Am I out of my mind? I'm really annoyed. My body feels tense. How about you?" She said she felt really tense too. And then, we didn't have a chance to really confer about it. But I'm really interested in this communication, relationship, tangle or not, called identification. That she really took me off guard, and I wasn't prepared to stop her. Anyway, I haven't figured out an answer to it yet, but I'm going to think about it this week. And next week, Judy and I are going to do a demonstration of what identification looks like, sounds like, maybe not feels like, but I know how I felt. I'm still feeling it right now. And next time this happens, I am not going to sit and be patient. My patience got burnt up. It got eaten up. And by the time I left, my body felt impatient. It wasn't just my mind. My body felt annoyed. Like I really wanted to reach across the table and shake her and say, shut up, just shut up, I'm talking. So I'm not sure if you've had this experience of someone who's interrupting, talking loud, jumping in, not being invited, terrible listening, leaving me feeling like very unfulfilled. Thank God I had a decent meal. Anyway, that's it. I'm just presenting the problem to you today and asking if you ever had this situation where you've been interrupted and the person launched into his or her monologue. That's what it was, a monologue. No excuse me, no I'm sorry, no back, I'm interested in what you want to say. I felt totally dismissed. I didn't like it at all. So I wanted to give it due justice. So next week, hopefully on Mondays with Moss, 11:15, we'll start on time. And Judy and I will demonstrate what this behavior looks like. And then she and I will discuss it and see if we can come up with how do you handle that when it occurs. Okay? So this will be right before Thanksgiving, Monday. I forgot what the date is, but it's a week from today. In between now and then, good fortune. Look for identifications. Look for when other people interrupt and launch into their personal monologue, or you do it. Either way, it's obnoxious. Talk to you next week.